Willow Creek, Oregon wasn't the kind of town anyone visited on purpose. It was quiet, too quiet, especially in late October when fog rolled across the roads like spilled milk and the cold bit through your jacket no matter how many layers you wore. Most houses looked normal, except one, the Marrow House. A tall, rotten Victorian structure that looked like it had given up on standing years ago, yet somehow remained upright, held together by nothing but shadows and rumors. Tonight, 4 friends stood in front of it. Jack Turner, 23, bold, loud, always the first one to start trouble. Ben Howard, 22, the logical one, hesitant but loyal. Mike Larson, 23, sarcastic and easily scared, the pessimist of the group. Sam Walker, 22, quiet, observant, with a gut instinct that was almost never wrong. The wind brushed past them, carrying the smell of pine, wet soil, and something sour. Jack grinned as he stepped forward. "All right, boys, here it is, the legend itself." Mike hugged his hoodie tighter. "Legend? Dude, half the town says this place eats people." Ben adjusted his glasses. "No one said it eats people. They just said the Marrow family disappeared." "Yeah," Mike snapped, "eaten by a house." Sam kept staring at the mansion, jaw tight. "It doesn't want us here." Jack laughed and slapped Sam's back. "That's the point, man. We're not here for cookies. We're here to prove it's all bullshit." The wind grew colder as they climbed the porch steps. The wood groaned under each footstep like the house was waking up. Ben hesitated. "Jack, are we seriously doing this?" Jack smirked. "One night, that's it. We film everything, and tomorrow we blow up online. Or we die online," Mike muttered. Sam wasn't joking. "Something's off. I can feel it." Before anyone else could speak, the front door, the huge, warped, dark red wooden door, slowly creaked open by itself. Mike froze. "Oh, hell no. Nope, nope, nope. That's a sign. That's literally every horror movie intro." Jack stepped inside. "Man up, it's just old wood and hinges." But Sam whispered under his breath, "Old wood doesn't open itself." Inside, the air felt colder, heavier, as if they'd stepped underwater. Dust floated like dead snowflakes. Faded wallpaper peeled in thick strips, revealing wooden boards underneath. Ben swept his flashlight around. "This place looks abandoned for decades." Mike coughed. "Smells like expired history." Jack grinned. "Perfect atmosphere." Sam wasn't smiling. His eyes were locked on the long hallway ahead, lined with old portraits and lit dimly by the moonlight leaking through cracked windows. But then he noticed something else. Mirrors everywhere. Every 10 or 15 feet on both walls. Different shapes and frames. Some tall and cracked, some oval and dusty, some clean as if someone had wiped them recently. Sam swallowed. "Why so many mirrors?" Jack shrugged. Old people were weird. Ben stepped in front of one. "These are unusual." Mike stared at his own reflection. "Bro, I look good even in haunted lighting." But then Sam's voice quivered. "Mike, keep looking." Mike frowned and looked closer. His reflection was staring back, but it wasn't moving like him. Mike lifted his right arm. His reflection lifted the left. Mike's mouth fell open. Guys, what the hell?" Jack ran over. "It's just reversed, obviously." But then Jack saw it. He blinked hard. His reflection was smiling. Jack wasn't. Ben stepped closer to another mirror, and his stomach dropped. There were 5 reflections, but only 4 guys in the hallway. A tall, thin figure stood at the far end of the mirror, behind their reflections. Black eyes, hollow cheeks, jaw unhinged too wide. Ben stumbled back. "There's someone in the mirror." Sam whispered, "No, there's something in the mirror." The lights flickered, and all the reflections moved on their own, smirking with twisted, unnatural expressions. The fifth figure lifted its hand and pressed its palm against the inside of the mirror. The glass rippled like water. Mike screamed, "Nope! I want out now!" They ran back toward the front door, but as Jack reached for the handle, the door slammed shut, shaking dust from the ceiling. Ben pulled with all his strength. It didn't budge. He pounded on the door. "Hey, open!" No answer. Jack exhaled sharply, fear creeping into his voice. "We'll find another exit." But the house was shifting. They could feel it, breathing, listening, waiting. They walked deeper inside, the hallway expanding unnaturally long behind them. The portrait's eyes seemed to follow their movements. Sam suddenly stopped. "Do you guys hear that?" Ben listened. "No, what?" Sam whispered, "Footsteps. Slow, heavy, coming from above them." Jack shone his flashlight at the ceiling. The footsteps crawled across it, like something walking upside down. Mike backed up. "Nope, nope, nope. What the hell walks on ceilings?" Sam's voice was low. "Not something human." The footsteps paused directly above them. Then, thump, 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 as if something was slamming its body onto the ceiling. Cracks formed. Dust rained down. Jack yelled, "Move!" They ran down the stairs into the basement without thinking. Bad choice. The basement was worse, much worse. It smelled like rot, mold, and something metallic. Blood, maybe. Shelves lined the walls with old jars, rusted tools, and a thick layer of dust. Ben explored a wooden table filled with old papers. "Guys, look at this." He picked up a yellowed photograph. The Marrow family. A father, mother, and 2 sons. But in the corner of every photo was that same shadow figure. Tall, thin, hollow eyes. Sam flipped through old journals on the table. His voice trembled as he read. "He lives in the mirrors. He mimics us. He feeds on us. He becomes us." More pages. "Reflections are not to be trusted. He wants our bodies. He knows our names." Mike whispered, "That's insane." But then, "Jack." A voice echoed from the shadows. Jack froze. "Who said that?" The others stared at him. "Jack, come closer." The voice was deeper this time, inhuman, hungry. It came from the mirrors along the basement walls. Ben shouted, "Don't look into them!" Jack tried to step back, but his reflection grabbed him. A pale hand shot through the mirror, grabbing Jack's wrist with icy fingers. Jack screamed, "Get it off me!" Ben and Sam lunged forward, pulling Jack back. Mike grabbed a metal pipe from the floor and slammed it against the mirror. Crack! The reflection shattered into a spiderweb of shards. The arm vanished. Jack fell to the floor, chest heaving. Sam knelt beside him. "You okay?" Jack nodded shakily. "It tried to pull me in." Ben looked toward the mirror again. Jack's reflection, even in the broken glass, was still smiling at them. They ran upstairs as the basement lights flickered violently. Mike gasped, "We need an exit, any exit!" They reached the second floor. Hallways stretched into darkness, lined with more mirrors, more portraits, more eyes watching. Ben cursed, "This house is a maze!" Sam stared out a cracked window. "Guys, look!" The outside didn't look like outside anymore. Instead of night and trees and moonlight, it was just darkness, like the house was floating in a void. Mike whispered, "We're not in Willow Creek anymore." Jack's voice shook. We're inside its world. Suddenly, scratch, scratch, scratch. Long fingernails dragging across wood. From the walls, from the ceiling, from inside the mirrors. A low voice echoed through the hall. You look like us now. The mirrors along the hallway lit up one by one. Their reflections stood still, not matching their movements, smiling, waiting. The tall figure stepped into the frame behind them and whispered, "Trade places." Ben shouted, "Run!" They sprinted down the hall. Doors slammed behind them. Lights burst above them. Shadows twisted like living things. They reached a final room at the end of the hall. A large circular room with one massive mirror in the center. Sam stared in horror. That's not a mirror. Indeed, it wasn't. It was a gateway. The surface rippled like liquid. Hands, hundreds of them pressed against the inside. Not human hands. Pale, thin, distorted. Jack whispered, "Dear God." A shadow stepped out from the liquid surface. Tall, boneless, hollow-eyed. Its smile stretched impossibly wide. "One of you stays, or all of you remain." Ben shouted, "You're not taking any of us!" The creature tilted its head, smiled wider. "I already have." They all turned toward the small mirrors on the walls and froze. Their reflections were gone. Only the tall figure remained in every mirror. Ben whispered, "It stole our reflections." Sam backed away toward the door. "That means it can take our bodies next." Jack's voice cracked. "We need to break these mirrors." Mike grabbed a wooden chair and threw it at the nearest mirror. Crash! Ben smashed another. Crack! Sam used a metal rod. Shatter! The house screamed. A deep, inhuman roar shook the floor. The giant mirror began shrinking, pulling back like a wounded creature. The shadow lunged. Jack tackled it with everything he had, but his body went right through. It was smoke and bones. Sam grabbed a broken mirror shard and stabbed the creature's reflection instead of its body. The creature howled. The mirrors flickered, then exploded outward. Shards flew everywhere. The creature dissolved into dark dust. The giant mirror collapsed into nothing, like it was never there. The house fell silent. The hallway lights steadied. The air felt different. Sam checked a nearby window. The trees were back, the moon shining normally. "It's over," he whispered. Jack wasn't so sure. They walked downstairs. The front door, now unlocked, stood slightly open. Ben opened it fully. Cold, clean night air blew in. Mike let out a shaky laugh. "We're alive! We're actually alive!" They walked outside without looking back. But when they reached Jack's Jeep, Sam stopped. "Guys!" They turned. The Marrow House stood still and lifeless, but every window, every glass surface showed 4 silhouettes in the reflection. Tall, thin, black-eyed, not matching the boy's movements. Jack exhaled, voice trembling. "It didn't die." Ben swallowed hard. "It let us go." Mike shook. "Why? Why would it let us leave?" Sam answered quietly, "Because it already took something from us." They looked at the Jeep's window. Their reflections stood inside the glass, smiling. Not human, not them. Jack whispered, "We didn't escape." Sam nodded slowly. "We just walked out without our souls."